says I'm live.
Konnichiwa, Sakai.
Let's see if it'll come up
Which
on my
you
phone.
are.
There it is.
And I see you're playing r/Steam Deck's favorite game of all time.
Oh, is there really?
Like at least a year ago, like you should have seen like every post. Like it's actually relevant to the backlog. Like people will buy a game on Steam or like from a Steam sale, and they'll be like, "I should play some of my backlog. I'll just go and play more Vampire Survivors."
Yeah, I kind of do that on the Steam Deck with the Hololive clone they made of it, HoloCure.
Oh yeah.
I'll load up my Steam Deck and be like, oh, which game am I gonna finally start today?
Yeah.
And I just end up playing that.
Yeah, and I'm like thinking, are they going to put in that weird boxing match thing that they got going on for like Fatal Fury that I shared with you the other day?
Yeah.
Which I swear that game has the weirdest marketing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're seeing that Saudi influence.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's the one guy, but still, it's like some of the other like stuff like. There's like another like boxing thing like before where it's like something to do with like I show speed.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, I've seen the name. I think I've seen the guy's face before, but I still am like, who? You know?
He is like one of the biggest streamers ever, but yeah, it's
I
kind
thought
of.
it was just like a TikToker or something.
No, he actually, I don't know if it's YouTube or Twitch or maybe both, but yeah, he does like really long live streams. He actually, a couple of weeks ago, he visited China and basically like 24/7 live streamed the entire vacation.
Yeah, I think I've seen some clips of his where like someone will say something to him and he's like what,
Yeah.
you know, or something like that.
Yeah. There's that one like Chinese song where it sounds like they're saying the N-word. So everywhere he goes,
I remember something about that.
Yeah, everyone's been singing that to him.
Yeah, that's the thing that's happening, you know. But yeah, as the stream title kind of sort of says, not really talking that much about like drama this time.
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, I kind of feel like drama is like one of those topics where it kind of ages poorly if you're talking about like content because it's like it's only relevant to that moment. All this stuff of like you think about Carl Drops and all the stuff people are talking about like ongoing, and then like the truth comes out and everyone's just gonna have all this content and be like, I feel bamboozled now, you know.
Yeah.
After what he pulled.
Yeah. I mean that's what makes it better for a live stream rather than like an edited video per se, but
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, at least since the last time we talked about it, not much has changed. Carl is just kind of acting like nothing happened right now.
Yeah, or he's like if I'm gonna appeal for retrial. This was absolutely a big giant sham, you know.
Well, absolute tools. I'm going to file for an appeal so I can pay Billy Mitchell twice the amount of money than I was originally going to pay him.
Yeah, and Billy Mitchell is now listening to like the Kino Casino podcast.
Yeah.
And it's
It's kind of wild to think about, especially with like how old he is now.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is content. I mean, I edited the video I shared with you. I did share it live where I was at a certain event at a certain time years ago.
Yeah,
where Billy Mitchell was actually there, and I got a little bit of footage of not very good footage. Because I felt a little nervous approaching him. Not that I think he was gonna like bite my head off or anything, but it's like here's this big giant legend. I think this is back when like the treating controversy like just started happening,
Okay.
And that I recorded the video.
Yeah.
But, I took a video of him, like, hey, he's actually here. He's playing Pac-Man. He's doing some weird trick with like, I think you kind of see it in the video where he's like the short video
Yeah.
where he's like,
He's trying to do like the kill screen like glitch thing. Or
well,
something
I don't
like
know
that.
if he's doing that, but he's doing
Yeah.
some trick where he gets all the ghosts in Pac-Man to like become one.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming just is like what you do if you want to just have like full control of the screen.
Yeah.
You can just like free roam, without having to give a crap about anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, so today's kind of like a thing, kind of on the topic of my mind, kind of been on my mind, especially as I've been playing, lately a lot of like bigger games, like stuff that's not, like not even saying like lately I've been replaying because I've already played through Final Fantasy IX like years ago, back when I was like, still in high school.
Yeah.
But not like it's one of those things where the main reason I've been playing those games is because I was actually listening to the Resonant Arc podcast, and they cover a lot of like SquareSoft games, probably because that's what they grew up with. And even though I don't, sometimes some of the stuff they talk about, like the reaches that they do, I'm like a bit like, I don't. I mean, I know that you guys are, Xenogears is like a big like thing you guys talked about, but I'm not like, sometimes they go a little too far with it.
When you say reaches, like, what do you mean?
Like, okay, you know how like you ever watched Star Wars Empire of Dreams? It's like a thing from like on like Star Wars DVDs back in like 2004, before what was that? Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, like one of the bonus feature, like
Yeah.
making of things. Yeah, I've probably seen it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Someone has like a re-upload of it that hasn't been taken down. Like in there, they talk about like George Lucas and some of his influences, like thematically.
Yeah.
And how he like studied with what's his face, Joseph Campbell, and
Yeah.
like I think like one of the documentary guys that said something like what like Joseph Campbell said that one of his best students ever was George Lucas.
Oh, okay.
Well, because like George Lucas, he's like referencing stuff like like the monomyth and like epic,
Yeah.
like stuff like
Hero's
themes
Journey
of
stuff.
heroes like themes you see in like every story. That's kind of like what they do a little bit,
Yeah.
and sometimes they talk about like most. There's not really that many shows I can like, or podcasts or whatever, that I can think of that do that like book club style of discussion for video games, and they go like super deep.
Yeah.
About stuff like that. It's just sometimes they'll go and do like a Xenosaga, and it's clear that it's one of those games you have to play twice or something like that.
Yeah.
And then do the podcast and not do it all in one go, because Xenosaga is kind of one of those weird games that came out in the PS2, and I don't know if it's just, I think a lot of people just, obviously people played it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those games that's, the only reason you might know about it is its relation to Xenogears. Or you might have seen it and it looked kind of cool on like the PS2's backlog, as opposed to like Final Fantasy X or whatever back then. But it's also kind of a rough game. Like if you're playing like the first one, it's like just like, you think about Metal Gear Solid. Like, people complain about like Metal Gear Solid, it's like 5 million hours of cutscenes. Well,
Yeah.
like Xenosaga Episode 1 is like so bad that it's doing. I mean, if and when we ever do it like Xenogears, you'll see what.
Yeah.
You have the full context for what I'm talking about. So like it's doing like the same thing that Disc 2 does, where it's just cutscenes, and then it's like after a certain point, it's like, you want to save, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm like, and then it's like the first game is doing this, like, and you're like thinking, man, I mean, I know I've heard like they talk about like how like the guy like kind of suffered the same issue as like as oh wow, like one hell of a car going on there.
Yeah.
They talk about like the same issues as like the guy struggle with the same issues as in Xenogears with like trying to keep his ambition like realistic, like for like the team and like what he's trying to do.
The budget and everything.
Yeah, and it basically he ran into the same issues, and he doesn't have like this time. It's like he doesn't have the whole thing of like, oh, SquareSoft might have been making like might have had to pull some people off of their dev team for Final Fantasy VIII, or they just ran out of time because SquareSoft has like very strict, like you have to get your thing done in 2 years, and he's dealing with a bunch of junior devs that they've only did like 2D stuff before. It's a whole thing they go into. But yeah, I kind of was playing Final Fantasy IX because I kind of feel like that was also kind of like a game I sort of was like, I remember that it's not so much in the early part, but like in the latter part of the game, like disc 3, like the last discs of the game, that it kind of things kind of resonated with me. I think at the time I played it, like some of the twists with the main character, and I don't want to say like in the main villain or villains, that like get revealed at the end game. So, by the way, I noticed you're basically just going in circles around this big giant mob.
Yeah, it's basically. I don't know if this mode has an end or if it's just as long as I can last. But like I know Hollow Cure usually has levels, but
I was gonna say my impression with roguelite, well, all the roguelike / lights, it's always been that you're basically just, it's like survival mode, like it's like zombies in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Survival.
I do think in this game there are permanent upgrades you can get, but I think that's only after you die you can like purchase them.
Huh. I know there's like a Castlevania crossover, which makes sense because like the title screen is just like Dracula.
Yeah, you look at the artwork too, and it's like
it's Dracula from like Castlevania Chronicles, which is just the X68000 version of Castlevania 1.
Yeah.
With like a new design. You can play like the original version, I think, and you can even access like all the like music, like What's actually cool about the X68000 version is you can play. There's like actually like 3 different sound modules for the different like X68000 like sound chips. Like you do the internal sound chip, some other one, and then like a Roland MIDI module.
Okay.
Like actual like legit MIDI.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh shit! You're about to get fucking mauled.
Yeah. Oh wait.
This is. It's taking me back to like when I used to play zombies with a certain acquaintance I've told you about, where it's like you have to like really just run along and like try to look for that opening like you just did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I know this game has a Switch port, and I heard people say like it starts to run like really badly on the Switch.
Which, okay, how? This is all 2D assets. It kind of reminds me. They ported Crosscode to the Switch, and like initially it's like, it has frame rate issues. I'm like, okay, I know this is like a web-based game, like it uses like HTML.
Oh boy, I don't know if I'm getting out of this one.
We're getting out of the Castlevania top down with this one, boys. I will say what little I've heard of the music is pretty good.
Okay. I kind of have my TV turned down a little bit right now, so I actually can't even hear it.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah.
You're just like Is it like just like? Let me see. Let me turn the volume up on this just to see how it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just constant sound effects.
Yeah, at this point, it's probably more that than music.
And it's not even like it's not even like you're. It's not even like the monsters have like unique sounds either. Like when you kill them, it's like it's not like in Castlevania Symphony of the Night when you take down like a skeleton and it like disintegrates.
Yeah.
Although at the same time, there's some enemies I would not like. You know how like the ghosts in like the Marble Gallery and Symphony of the Night, the really annoying ones when you kill them.
Yeah.
Like imagine that in this, and you're like when you kill these ghosts right now.
Yeah, I would turn the sound effects just all the way down.
Yeah, may as well turn it down and put it in like ASMR mode or something, or
Yeah.
John Cage 433.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, so that's kind of what I've been playing right now, and even while I'm playing like Final Fantasy 9, um,
Wait.
I've been like kind of thinking like I mean in terms of like the gameplay systems and stuff, like I do like it more than like some of the other like Final Fantasies. Like I would say it's kind of similar to Lost Odyssey and like how you can like customize your characters a little bit. Um,
Oh my god.
I was gonna say moment of
I have
truth.
like one. I have like
Yeah,
one
you're like
pixel of
on a
health left.
pixel health, like nail biter. I like how you get all these level ups, so you don't get like any like health upgrades or anything
Yeah.
like a traditional level up would. You just get like
Yeah, even a Holocure has like health upgrades. The game doesn't seem to have any.
it's just get the meat that drops
I'm
every
dead.
now and then. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, yeah, it looks like they have like the enemies that are like red. Are they like the red skeletons in Castlevania,
Yeah.
where like you kill them and then they just keep getting back up?
Think so.
But yeah, as I was saying, playing it, I've been thinking like, I like the gameplay systems and stuff, but usually when you in the context of something like the Resident Arc podcast and some other stuff that they tend to discuss, um, people just talk about like the stories of these games and stuff like that. You have people talking about like not even just like for old games like that, but even for like modern games, like
Yeah.
like The Last of Us 2, which is a woke dumpster fire to say the
Yeah.
least. I mean that series is still mainstream. I was literally watching. I was like helping my parents out. One of my parents was like calling me in a room for something.
Yeah.
And I was just like looking at the TV, and they literally, how like you'll be watching a show and there'll be like a small like ad teaser, be like
Yeah.
like The Walking Dead season whatever. I don't even.
69. Yeah.
Yeah, is The Walking Dead even going anymore?
Yeah. There's like 2 or 3 spin-offs that are still going.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's
People.
yeah.
I guess people still watch it for some godforsaken reason.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to think like, man, that was like a thing back in like high school, and I never, I, I don't know. Anyways, but
Yeah.
yeah, people talk about like, just playing it for the story, or like they'll put it in like story difficulty, or
Yeah.
they'll turn on like the cheats, or not even the cheats, like I think it's what is it, the accessibility options. And I
Oh
remember,
yeah. They basically have like game journalist mode.
pretty much like, and I think I remember some ordinary gamers. I remember he did like a video like back then about it, like, and is like you basically the guards they won't react anymore, and I'm like thinking, what in the world? This is like a debug mode almost, you
Yeah.
know? Um,
It's
like
like why
some
even
of the
make a game at that point?
well, yeah, or why play the game? Why not just watch
Yeah.
the movie
Just
of it? Which
yeah. Just
there's
watch
plenty
it
of
on YouTube.
yeah, just on YouTube, which is kind of kind of funny if you think about it, because the only reason those like you know Chrono Cross the movie, for example, is can exist is because Square Enix doesn't, and other companies don't like copyright strike any of those.
Yeah.
If you think about it, which it's not like I'm not trying to be like, oh, please do that, because that would be terrible. Oh wow, they actually did just like new footage of like modern or back then skaters.
Yeah, I think a lot of it looks like new footage. Some of it looks like 90s footage that they blew up.
Yeah. Well, I know that I know I've heard about there's some controversy about some skater that was supposed to be in 3 and 4, and they think Tony Hawk had to actually go to bat for him or something.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. Yeah, Tony was like, "Nah, you're putting him in the game, or else."
That was just something a headline I saw, randomly. I don't know the context.
I think I remember. I think it might have been Bam Margera, that guy from the Jackass movies.
I've never seen any of those, but it sounds, based on what I've heard about him, I've always been like, it sounds like a movie I would probably. Sounds like they do a lot of stupid stuff in there.
Yeah.
It's like stuff that you maybe would do in VR, with cars or something, but definitely not in real life.
Yeah.
Unless you're that one death seeker who's driving through Times Square and going changing lanes. I think I shared with you before.
Yeah.
I'm but y'all were playing Andy and Let Lele.
Oh, yeah. This guy was in chat yesterday. Yeah, we were gonna play that. Karma isn't with me tonight, so we'll push that to next week probably.
I mean, I know about. I mean, I know you've shown me that game before.
Yeah.
It just I'm assuming you loaded up from a save you were in the middle of, right?
Yeah, I started. Well, the new update came out that added chapter 3.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a while since I played it, so I just started over. I started a new file.
Yeah, I feel like something like that is just wait until it's done. That's for me personally, and that's kind of the one thing I will say about some games. It's I remember, I think I didn't buy it because it wasn't done yet, but I got Crosscode.
Yeah.
When it was done, because I was thinking, okay, this looks good, but there's a lot of early stuff on early access, and not all of it gets out of early access. I think the only one game I think I have that's still technically early access is BeamNG, and that game unfortunately doesn't even work on the deck. At least not very well. The last time I tried.
Yeah. Well, for me, I wanted to buy it just because I didn't want to be so behind that I get spoiled on stuff, and then I also know every time a new chapter comes out, the price is probably going to go up. So.
Oh, is it an episodic release or something?
No, but since it's early access, the dev can raise the price. Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. So who's this? How do I put this?
Oh yeah, introduce yourself, I guess.
So yeah, I guess the way I would how to introduce myself. So I guess the way I would describe myself is I'm someone who knew Immortalix through a certain other site, basically. And I sent through the help of someone else. Well, how do I? Because I'm being vague because it involves another site, and
yeah, I mean you don't have to go that deep. I mean, we know each other for some years now, and
yeah.
This is Mr. Zerk over here.
Yep.
And he's my other co-host. I have on here sometimes.
Yep. We don't know each other IRL like you and Karma and some of the guys do. That you're playing like the first and last descendant, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Like we don't know each other IRL, but we do. We have some shared interests and thought patterns, I guess, like and philosophy and whatever else, however else you want to describe it. So like I would say I'm more of a like I've not even played like that much of like the Tony Hawk, like the original ones, that much.
I've really
only
ever played I think it was 3 on the GameCube.
Yeah. I do remember the Game Boy Advance version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. You play as if you put in a code, you can play as Spider-Man.
Seeing that.
I think he could also like do like tricks with his what is it? With his with his web swingy,
okay.
like you do stuff like that, But that's all I remember really. And also I think that game's like it uses like pre-rendered like backgrounds.
Yeah.
Like it's a different game than like the 3D games, obviously, because outside of like Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance and the tournament edition of it, and also tag basically Tekken 3 on GPA, there weren't really that many like fully 3D games on on the Game Boy Advance. Even then, it's like pre-renders.
Yeah.
Birdhouse. Oh. Yeah, I'll be like playing like a game, and I'll be like, man, as much as I enjoy playing this game, I'm also looking at like the time I'm like investing into it, and I'm like thinking, there's like other games I haven't played before that, like I saw like a screenshot of Valkyrie Profile on PS1, and I was like, it's like 2D, like it was like a picture of like a battle and like 2D sprites on a 3D background. I think it's like turn-based RPG. It's not like Star Ocean, because it was made by the Star Ocean guys, like NX. It even has like very similar sound font. I don't know if Sakuraba, Batoy Sakuraba did the music, but that's like a game I was like thinking, okay, that's like grand total of 2. I mean, there's like a new one that came out, but it's modern Square Enix, good. It's like good luck with the quality control on that. Because I think it's like Final Fantasy graphics from what I remember of the trailer for it. But yeah, I was like thinking, man, I could play that. I could play like Grandia 2. I could play like Time Stalkers. I will say I do like every time you like fall down, you like you like just it's like the Matrix or something.
Yeah, just kind of glitch out and come back.
Yeah, or like like anytime Agent Smith what is he? Agent Smith like takes over someone, they're like yeah. I think you're supposed to hold a button down, or like a few buttons down when you're like on grinding.
Oh.
That man, there's like a certain extent to where you want to like eventually you'll want to like jump, pop off.
Yeah, it wants me to do a flip, which I'm pressing. It's telling me to press. But...
I will say I do remember like in high school there was this one guy who was actually in.
Yeah.
I think he said like it seemed like in the 7th generation it all became all about the Skate series.
Yeah.
On PS3.
Yeah, because from what I know, like everyone said, the Tony Hawk games got like pretty bad after a certain point, and then they tried to have the revival with Pro Skater 5, and that was like somehow like the worst.
Like devoid of content or something.
Yeah. So when they announced this, people were like, all right, well, we'll see if he can pull it off.
Yeah, Modern Activision, you know,
Yeah.
good old Bobby Kotick.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining like Tony Hawk actually walking in here and being like, what is this? You know,
Yeah.
or either that or like Tony Hawk, you're just playing this and then he just jumps in through the ceiling, and then it's like he gets there, like grabs the guy's like bagel bites and like, can you like share? You know, he's like, nah. I don't know if you remember that commercial growing up.
I think I vaguely remember that.
I remember seeing it like all the time when I'd be watching like Dragon Ball Z on Toonami. But at the same time, when it comes to like backlogs and stuff, like I'm kind of at a point where it's like with some of the other stuff I want to do, like, you know, learning Japanese or learning programming or whatever, where I'm like, okay, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of like, you know what? Sometimes it's okay to relax, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be like I don't know if it's just like my feed on like YouTube or and Facebook or whatever, but I always get all these like motivational, like, you know, stuff, and it's like, okay, you know, I don't really have much of a reason to do half this stuff, and some people be like, well, that's exactly the reason. Eventually you'll get like a wife and girlfriend, and it's like, I don't know. Man, I do what I can, but you know.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any stuff like that on my feed in a while.
I was gonna say, you just
I was
glitched out.
I was trying to figure out what was going on there.
Like just went out of bounds. Do like the hidden world thing, like Prime 1 and no, I think it's just Prime 1. It's not Prime 2. Where you like clip through and get like one of the artifacts early. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, like when it comes to like backlogs and stuff, like just playing something like, you know, yeah, okay, I mean, maybe I haven't played everything, but you know, it's okay to sometimes relax and play it, because like actually it's that what's neat about playing the PC port of Final Fantasy IX is that you have like the Memoria engine mod, and it's kind of like a mod manager, which I'm not a big fan of the whole mod manager concept, but at least this is like one that's made specifically for the game and not just like the generic one with like Nexus mods or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you see people use for like Skyrim or, you know, the Oblivion remaster that apparently the Steam Deck, you got to put it in like 720p in window mode to like get it to like run, from what I've seen of like on fucking Steam Deck, you know, / Steam Deck. Oh, that was a cool jump.
I managed to pull that one off.
And from what I've seen of like the Oblivion like remaster, it's really more like a straight up remake in terms of like the graphics and stuff.
Yeah.
If you play that and want to experience the insanity of the NPCs, you know, then I got that.
Actually, I saw it popped up in my feed today, a video. Someone did the Oblivion NPC dialogue.
It's like a whole thing on YouTube.
Yeah, no, but it was like a brand new one, like someone made like 2 days ago. But they just have they have a good old Bimmy talking about like that time he spent like $200.
Oh, just like the Thunderbolt one. Or it's like overly loud, like server.
The player walks into a shop,
you know,
and Bimmy's just there, and he's like, "Yeah, and I spent $250 on." See if I can find that.
Yeah, I mean, I can see some of the stuff he says, kind of, you know, kind of falling into that realm.
Yeah. Here we go. Will Discord cooperate with me?
I was wondering, does this have like a first-person mode by any chance?
Let
I,
me see.
I'm just like curious because that would be that would
Pushing every
be
button.
well, yeah, maybe a BIM. Just get like quieter fans. Oh, how nice of Screenwave to set you up with a new Mac.
Here we'll learn how to get out of pools. Exit a pool by holding the up button while skating over the pool's lip. Ollieing over the lip of the pool while ollieing over the try to skate or
You know, it reminds me of how like I have my current computer,
Yeah.
like how loud the Noctua fans I got on those things be like bother you. I mean, some people complain about like the Steam Deck fan sometimes on like
Yeah,
r/ Steam Deck, you know, and I'm like I don't hear anything. I have to like,
I
I mean, for
mean, I
one thing,
suppose if you have your game muted and nothing else is going on around you, you can hear it.
yeah, I mean, if I'm in the bathroom or something, I have like this pair of
Yeah.
like Sennheisers that I got that are like, I mean, they're not. I mean, it's not like the Momentum 4 wireless. It's like a cheap. I mean, I'm not gonna use Bluetooth. I like to
Yeah.
use Bluetooth, just because usually it ends up pairing with my phone, and you know, it's like it's a big hassle. You know,
Yeah, that's why I have
but
like I have like a pair of Bluetooth per device that I would use it with, and even then I don't really use it with any handhelds or gaming devices.
like I got the Momentum 4 like true wireless because the one Samsung what is it the Samsung like headphones I had for like a few years
Yeah.
I think like I don't know I think they just got wore out or maybe some sweat got them in them when I was like on the treadmill and it like messed everything up.
Yeah.
Um, oh, I like how it's a VHS tape.
Yeah.
Really going back to the '90s, man.
Yeah.
Totally radical and tubular, dude. Um, but yeah, I mean, it kind of goes like with saying like when it comes to like bigger games like that, what I think also like um, what also kind of bums me out is the fact that I have this whole retro setup that I mean, it wasn't like had to buy everything. A lot of it is like old systems that um if they're not mine, my brother still hasn't like come back to claim them.
Yeah.
Um, mostly because I don't think he really
Yeah.
it's one of those things where if he has like a it's one of those things where when you get older and it's kind of the thing part of the reason why I'm playing the bigger games and not like like oh every like mascot platformer every cool spot and
Yeah.
Chester Cheetah Wild Quest or whatever which we actually had that
Oh
on
wow.
like Genesis back then um like I'm not playing like something shorter because like okay I figure at least those games are probably short and digestible enough and even then I know I say like oh why don't I play something shorter it's like well some of those games are not all those games are as good as the cool spot games where they have like two or three of them or something. Um, it's like at least with if I play the longer ones, at least like okay, I've beaten it, I played it. And if and whenever I do get married and have kids or whatever, at least I can say I played for the game.
Yeah.
Like I'm even like thinking like after Valkyrie Profile, maybe I'll play like Suikoden. Either that or I'll play like for like all the rest of the Final Fantasies. That's actually kind of something I was thinking about doing.
Final Fantasy Marathon.
Yeah. Because I mean, I played like the PS1 games.
Yeah.
I also have like 10 on like Steam. I'm like, do I play that first or do I play like the first one? Because part of the reason I wanted to play something a bit older is that I'm thinking, my thinking is, okay, I've been wanting to learn Japanese. The problem is Final Fantasy 7 and 9 and like the PS1 era is probably not a good era or like of like RPG to start with if you're trying to like, because like one thing in Japanese is that you want to have like reading material to like practice with, and when you're, I mean, I know hiragana like the back of my hand. Katakana I still struggle with a little bit, but doing some of the stuff I've been doing, I'm getting a little bit better with it. It's just unfortunately like a lot of the material for like the first two like tests, like the N5 and 4 and all that. There's not a lot of katakana that you'll naturally just run across, and some of that is mostly because katakana is just kind of basically like words that they basically took from like us in United States. Like like a PC in Japanese, like the katakana is pasokan. Or if you're talking about a computer, it'd be like computer. Like it's clearly the English word, but they don't like have like a word for like they don't have a character for like mpa, computer. They use like N instead.
And I think smartphone is just like smartphone. Or something like.
I think.
Okay.
Or Bangu is a phone number.
Okay.
I was making a reference to Rock from Soul Calibur there. That's what I think of when I think of like I see Bangu and a character generation game. But
because I did watch anime a while back, and they kept saying "smaho" whenever they referred to their smartphone.
I mean, that kind of checks out. The thing is, there's a lot of like context stuff like for counting things. For counting different things, there's like certain things you have to like for months, it's like the month of January, it'd be Ichiobi. Like literally one, and then like the Yobi is like supposed to be for like the month, or November is Chiobi. I think they don't kind of going off the top of my head there. And my thinking with was like, okay, if I play the older Final Fantasies, and I know you recommended Emerald, and I'm like, eventually I'll get to that. But, problem is like the older ones is like the later ones is there's a lot of kanji, and kanji is. Let me put it like this: hiragana and katakana learning Japanese. I would say if you're like as far as like reading goes, like reading characters, which is kind of mostly what I'm in it for. Was like the whole motivation for this was literally just that one video talking about like how like Grandia 2 they just like oh yeah we just kind of sort of made up the translation as we went along, and I'm like thinking what, or like no, it's Skies of Arcadia that they were like that, and I'm like you think that all these companies they'd hire like actual like people who want to translate things, or like passionate about it, but then again I also know like I heard that like Lost Odyssey like one of the guys that they had like translating like the best parts of writing
Yeah.
for that game. He like he was actually like a very well renowned like Japanese like translator, but I guess he never like translated video games before because to him he didn't want to translate a bunch of games that were like super violent. This is, I think it is like a boomer, like so that's like his age or something. So you know, so when he saw like the content of like Lost, like because he translated like the diary entry things that you kind of not, they're kind of like the characters like remembering their like past selves.
Yeah.
Because like half the like a little like half the characters are like immortal characters that have like they basically all have amnesia, you know, for a certain part of the game until they remember like who the main bad guy is. Like, you play the actual game, maneuvering, some magic stuff, you know, happens, and then like the writing in this is like holy crap, this is like this just sounds a little bit more interesting almost with how they write it, than like the writing is just a lot more interesting than like, oh, we're just like going to doing this now. He's like unleashing this monster that he like petrified because one of the characters regained their memory and you know went out of the box that he basically made for them, sort of. That's me trying to quickly summarize what I remember about Lost Odyssey, but you know. I just wish they would like port that game to Steam and not just, you know.
Yeah.
I think unfortunately the one interview like that mentioned like, oh, can you like remaster it or like I think like whatever must have been communicated to like Sakaguchi might have been like he interpreted it as like remake, and it's like that's not what people were necessarily asking for because a remake is very different from a remaster. You know.
Yeah, it's another couple of years of your life.
Yeah, well, yeah, with modern game development, it's I mean, that's the thing too. Like, you think about like Metroid Zero Mission was probably not like several years. I don't think of like development. You know, because that was like, you know, back then it was just like 2D sprites still.
Yeah, and that was going from NES to still 2D.
Yeah. So, and that's part of the reason why when you think about like, oh, they're bringing back, you know, that like that's one of those things with like, oh, they made like a new 2D Metroid, like an actual new one, and not like just a remake. And I'm like, well, that's neat, but other than Kenji Yamamoto just, I don't know, asking for credit and and Sakamoto and you know some of the other like long-term guys, you know, like the executive guys, how much of the actual original development talent is actually like offering input? You know what I mean? Because on the one hand, yeah, I mean, on the one hand, I'm like glad that Mercury's team is like, because I mean, let me put it like this: their output for when it comes to games, other than like Castlevania Lords of Shadow, is kind of like, ugh, you know. Some IP comic book series I've never heard of.
Yeah.
But it wasn't very good. You know, I mean, I'm glad they're getting like all this work and stuff, but you know, all this stuff about like, you know, people not getting credited and you know, I mean, I don't know how that works with like, you know, some people always be like, oh, we didn't get credit for this, and I'm like thinking, I'm pretty sure they probably would detail in the contract, you know. That's always like a big giant. It's kind of like the old Carl Drops thing, where it's kind of like a big giant he said she said situation almost. You know, because I know a lot of people are like really ticked off that they didn't like credit their developers, and I'm like, well, I don't know. There's always like three sides of a story: what he said, what they said, and the truth. You know.
Yeah.
Oh damn! You're like you're getting really good at this grinding. It's a different kind of grinding from like RPG grinding, that's for sure. Like this one, and thinking about like, and that's the thing too. Like a lot of RPGs, like when you think about like the gameplay loop, it's like, okay, how much time am I gonna or characters as opposed to like playing a game that's a little bit more like you can actually dodge and like there's actually like skill involved. You know what I mean? Like Twitch. I don't even necessarily want to say like Twitch, but Oh, what happened?
No, I just had a really good chain going and then fucked it up.
Oh yeah, I saw that. You're like, yeah, you're on a roll.
Yeah.
Now, if Tony Hawk were there, he'd be like, yeah, you're doing it, or something.
Then he turned into Gordon Ramsay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, fuck that up.
That would be absolutely. You know what?
Yeah.
They should mod that. This has a PC port, right? They should absolutely mod that, and like every time he dies or like he falls down, he's like, "What? You're an absolute dog of a player. This is absolutely disgusting." Yeah.
You call this cooked?
You call that a good grind? I'm assuming the music is all like newer music that wasn't in the original game.
Yeah, I heard some of the original songs that came back, but I assume there's a whole bunch of licensing nonsense. So
yeah, that's why
all the original stuff.
That's what kind of scares me about like stuff like Mortal Kombat. Like let's say they were to try to release like people. There's a lot of people who be like, why can't you just re-release Mortal Kombat 9? It's like, well, problem. You have a big giant Freddy problem.
Yeah.
And I'm like thinking, okay, you could just make an original character. Be like, okay, this isn't Freddy, but
Or you could just like not include those featured characters.
Well, the problem is that when you do that, it messes with the balance of the game, like the competitive balance. Because I think what people want is like essentially MK9 with like rollback netcode, basically. Because like every like Mortal one, that was something they added in, and it was like holy crap, you can actually play these games online like forever now. Until they delist it, because I'm sure those licenses have expiration dates.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's probably why MK9 is currently delisted on Steam. And I bought that even before I had like a computer that I could run it on. The PC version on, because I was like, get one, and glad I got that.
Yeah.
360 boneless. When do we get the 1080 no scope boneless?
All right.
Manuals are great for increasing
the only way you could do that on a controller back then was you'd have to like turn your sensitivity up all the way.
Yeah.
Because that's how people normally play those games. They weren't playing it on like PC, I don't think. Especially since Modern Warfare 2 and afterwards, they actually like killed like mod support for the PC versions.
Oh.
I think World at War, like, I remember private conversations, not on Twitch. He would talk like, oh yeah, it's like, and I'm like, oh yeah, we should play that. And then he'd be like, oh, I don't want to play on PC though. I don't want to play on mouse and keyboard. I'm like thinking, okay, I'm sure the controller would work just fine. And even if it doesn't, joystick key is a thing.
Yeah.
Or some of the other like, the X-Pad or, which I don't even know if X-Pad. I don't think X-Pad technically exists anymore. And you can find like old like installation files on.
I know
on the internet.
On a much older PC I used to use, I think it was called Motion Enjoy for the PS3 controller.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, but then I heard like it was like spyware or something. So.
Yeah, I don't think that was the one to use for getting the PS3 to work on like Windows 7 and all that. I think it was like,
Well, this was
Like,
on this was on a Windows 8 PC that I had. So
well, that's kind of roughly the same era. This is like, what is it? I think it was like SCP, not the Foundation. You know, the statue that like breaks your neck every time you blink or whatever,
yeah,
and like everything else. There's like a whole like community, like you know, like a whole wiki of like various like SCPs, and I'm like, and like they try to like take like these photorealistic pictures, and I'm like, okay, this is like a thing, I guess.
yeah.
I thought it was just like a creepy pasta, but apparently it's kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's. It like it became its whole thing. I like how you're like clipping through the geometry now.
Yeah.
I would love it. Like,
If that happened in real life, like your knees would be absolutely shredded, even with those pads.
yeah, I know. Like, there should be a point where they're like, like you know,
Yeah. If there's not like a realistic damage mod for this,
Yeah.
there needs to be.
and you know, the Dark Souls of Tony Hawk. Yeah, you ever played? I don't know if you've ever played Bushido Blade.
I haven't played it, but I've seen it.
Oh, okay. Oh, damn, that was a pretty good lip side there.
Oh shit!
But yeah, you know, you're you know, like you played like or seen Samurai Showdown before, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like that, but like even more real. Like if you take like a damage to like your legs, like your character won't be able to move around, or it's like they'll be like crouched over.
Yeah.
I think you can also get like paralyzed, where like you're just literally on the floor, like Dr. Biskanovich and Tekken 3, and you have to like like knock them over. But the main idea is like one hit and they're dead.
Yeah.
You know, like it's about as realistic as you can get, even more so than like Samurai Showdown, which you know, like the closest to realism you're gonna get is like the final boss of Sam Show Freak and his strong slash.
Yeah.
Like being like you only need to get 3 of those in and you're dead. For a second, I thought you like spawned without the skateboard.
Yeah. Yeah. It looked like that for a second.
Like, oh, you broke your skateboard. Now you have to like try to grind on your actual feet.
Got to do it Sonic style.
Yeah, seeing this makes me want to play Jet Grind Radio, which is like another game that I've been thinking about. I was actually thinking about with the retro setup of mine, like lately. Like if I was ever to like it's kind of coming out of my mind because my parents have been talking about moving out a lot like in a more serious level than before. But it's still like a big giant like I'll just say it would be a better situation for them, not like short. I mean, everything for them would be like short term because I mean they're not getting any younger.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. But you know, as far as like, it would be like a better living situation. You know, what happened?
Yeah, you'll see in a second.
Okay, yeah, you almost tried to fight gravity. I wonder if you go fast enough, you could actually do that. That would be truly badass if that was the case. Yeah, so I've been thinking about like, you know, what are the systems I would actually want to have like handy.
Yeah.
And the only ones I could think of that I want to have like handy, because I can't just play on a computer reliably for sure, are like the PS3, and that's really only for like PS3 games. The Wii, because it's the Wii. I know there's like I have a Dolphin bar, but you know at least the Wii it just works for the most part.
Yeah.
The original Xbox, because original Xbox emulation isn't, and then like Xbox 360, and also the Saturn. Like those are like the 5 systems that I would say like the emulation might not be quite there yet in like a satisfactory manner. I mean, I'm sure the Saturn is fine, but it's like if I play like Shining Force free and like the 3 different all the scenarios and everything.
I was
And
watching a review for one of the new. There's another yet another new Retroid handheld, and of course
like
everyone.
Pocket 5 or
Yeah,
something.
they have a Game Boy shaped one. It's just called a Retroid Classic,
Oh, okay.
and it actually seems like pretty good value for the price. But
Yeah.
like I already saw like 2 reviewers be like, "Oh yeah, it runs all the Saturn games perfectly." It's like okay, yeah, X to doubt.
Wait, what?
Because they were saying like, "Oh yeah, it runs all the Saturn games perfectly," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think so."
Yeah, I'm like, did you try like the most demanding games, like the Burning Rangers, and like I would think that would probably be the most demanding one because I remember playing that, and even at full speed, that game is like, uh, it, let's just say I don't. It's a perfect demonstration of what the Saturn is not necessarily the best at. I mean, they're doing the best they can,
Yeah,
but it's 3D, um, not necessarily like a 2D. It doesn't specialize in 2D like ass
yeah,
style, which is like one of the big like, yo, this is like what the Saturn was made for.
yeah,
Games that you see like games hacking art people be like, yo, this is like actually a pretty good underrated game.
yeah.
For this one system. The only reason I even knew about the Saturn back then was my brother had like this one strategy RPG. It wasn't even Shining Force. It was like Blazing Heroes or something.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's not very good. Like it looks like how do I put that? It looks like Donkey Kong Country like pre-rendered style on like
Oh,
3D
okay.
with sprites. Um it's no Shining Force or anything. Or Dragon Force. That's
Yeah,
another one I hear about. Um yeah, that's kind of what I like all like multi-taps for like the Super Nintendo. Um and the
yeah,
Saturn. Like I sent you that one picture of like the 10 plus controllers for
yeah,
like
yeah,
Saturn Bomberman, and
yeah,
and it's like, okay, maybe one of these days we'll get everyone in the room and we'll be like, all right, is everyone ready to party? You know,
yeah,
like even harder than like than Smash like, well, modern day Smash Brothers because
yeah.
ooh, I don't think I ever showed you my new chair. My computer chair I got. It's a mesh one.
Oh no, yeah, I didn't see that.
I haven't sent you a picture of it, but it's like um, it has like these adjustable arms, and
Yeah,
that's sometimes I'll be like, I'll just be like leaning on, and then I'll actually be like, I don't know if the mic's picking that up.
do it again.
Yeah, well, the arms like you can like shift them left and right or back and
Okay.
forth. Um, I actually got it for like pretty cheap on like Facebook Marketplace from this like one guy. Because actually a bit. That's all I'll say. Without
Yeah,
saying too many IRL details. Um, I'm just like imagining the sounds of him like grinding and everything from like the PS1 game. Although I'm sure they
yeah,
probably redid the sound design. I imagine, right?
yeah. I would assume.
It's not like Virtua Fighter where they're using the same like whoosh and same voice samples they've had like since Virtua Fighter
Yeah.
3
No,
or
I
4.
think a ton of this. I mean, it's called remaster, but I'm sure most of this game is just straight up
Although at the
remade.
same time, I do find that kind of charming about Virtua Fighter that uses some of those sounds.
Yeah,
Because I think some of them still sound pretty cool.
yeah. Man, I think they did that for Dead or Alive with the Virtua Fighter characters. They just used the same old voice clips.
Dare Alive is one of those games I would play more, but I just know that with my family being how it is,
Yeah,
like like they would probably play up to like Dare Life 4. I think wouldn't be a problem. Like Dare Life 5, it's
Yeah.
like some of these costumes. Like I remember, I was playing some fighting games with some nephews of mine. Just because I'm just like passing the time while their parents do whatever. And I was like thinking, okay, responsible uncle time. You know,
Yeah.
because I mean, we do have like Dare Life 4 on like actual disc. I just don't have like the 360 like hooked up because I have like the last model 360, and that it will plug into a what is it? It'll plug into a CRT.
Yeah.
Only with composite though.
Because
it does not use the same like output connector as the older 360s. Like it uses just like this. It looks like a coax, like a 3.5 millimeter like like an aux port, aux cable, but it's like connects. It goes out. It's like least likely to red ring.
Yeah, the one that actually
like
works.
even the slim, the ones with the you hover your finger in front of the disc tray and it opens like like magic or something. Like even those don't are not exactly stable.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought those were kind of fixed up too.
I mean they are, but I think my brother got granted it was like a modded one off of Craigslist, which should tell you how long ago that was. I got this modded one. I think it had like a special fan on it, and that red ring.
Wow.
Like if Microsoft was making a lot of money off of I don't know if they were making any money off the repairs.
I think the first few years they had to do it for free.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was like the whole lifespan of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like just constant issues with it felt like it's like we went through at least 6 Xbox 360s where you sent it in and you couldn't play Ninja Gaiden 2 or whatever. I don't know if you saw that Xbox documentary when they did the Series X released, and they're always like, we didn't know we couldn't pinpoint the issue, and it's like, yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah.
We couldn't figure out the issue of this system that we literally engineered,
Yeah. Right.
And back then, people were saying stuff like, "Oh, use towels," it's just what,
Yeah, that's not any better.
I know it absorbs the heat, maybe, but
Yeah.
Oh, what?
It's a very temporary fix.
Perfect, always special. I eventually read that last one as no balls.
No bales. What does that mean?
Always use English voices. Huh? They got where's the sub versus dub war for this?
Right. Tony Hawkins.
Why can't we have Joji George Nakata or something? Yeah. Saul's voice actor.
Yeah. I'm starting to get a little bit of a headache, so I think I'm gonna end the stream.
Oh, really? From falling down all over the place? You've become one with your avatar in the game. This is the Matrix.
I think so. Yeah.
Or not necessarily because of the way the camera moves or whatever.
It's probably that a little bit too, and all the flips and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Imagine this in first person or even VR.
Oh no, I'd be done in less than a minute.
You want to know it? And just think, I remember that F-Zero GX VR thing that they did for Dolphin.
Oh god, yeah. I saw that.
I'm you might want to just put someone in a big giant bag and just a barf bag because
yeah.
I mean it also at the same time it also sounds like a thrilling experience, the fastest you'll ever move around IRL.
Yeah. I think I could live without that.
It's one of those things that you would only want to do it once, or twice, maybe.
Yeah. Ugh. But yeah, I'm gonna end the stream there. Hope y'all enjoyed our various topics to the sight
Yeah.
of many a Tony Hawk getting his legs broken.
I mean, you're starting to get better there. Towards the
Yeah,
end.
yeah, picking it up a little bit, but yeah.
Yep.
Probably stream this another time again as well. But yeah, until then, I hope y'all enjoyed it, and hope I'll catch y'all on the next one.
All right. Yep. Johnny.
Offline.